Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus new moon for the month of December tarot oracle reading. And Virgo, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign isn't Virgo, we all still have a little bit of Virgo in us. If you have your birth chart, where does Virgo sit? In which house? That is where this will show up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. I already washed and shuffled the decks and now I am just giving a quick cut here, and we will see what the underlying energy for this reading is. Okay, so we have someone, Virgo, has been in some sort of energy of having to battle. This can represent a battle of wills. It can also represent an energy of battling with others. This can be read as this being you, and this is different versions of yourselves after you win the battles, and it improves you. You become bigger with every, you notice you become bigger with every battle that you manage to win. These can represent, as I said, battles within yourself, battles with others. This card can also represent the energy of like fighting with the flow is what I'm getting. So this energy could be in nature when nature wants to manifest. The nature counts different from how we count. Nature counts 1 + 2 = 3, and then 3 reaches back into the past to 2, and 3 + 2 = 5, and then 5 reaches back into the past for 3, and we have 8. And that's because life is not a march, life is a dance. So sometimes most people do prefer forward movement, but this also is saying you have to recognize that life is a dance, not a march, and progress is not always like moving forward. When you're dancing, you're going to move to the side, you're going to move back, then you're 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of energy. So that's the energy that I feel like this reading is in. It's just understanding that is going to empower you a lot. Recognizing that perhaps you've been working on something and you'll get ahead and then you have a step backwards and you feel really bad about it. Like, you know, is this ever going to end kind of energy? No, it's not. But you'll be making progress as you go. That's how you can tell. As long as you're making forward progress, and you can see that there's some progress, like even if like you're working on something and you do something and then it didn't turn out as good as it did, but there was one really good thing you learned about it, double down on that and start doing that more. And every time you just improve like 1% or even 1/4%, you're improving, and those little improvements add up. And that's the kind of energy we're in anyway at this point on the planet. It's kind of like understanding. It's not like instant success like a lot of people say. It's more about a gradual momentum that builds up. And so you are building momentum. You're just doing it in a way that's not instant success. And then we have the internal boundaries, like the internal forces. You're showing up as the King of Pentacles when it comes to how you see yourself and how you want to carry yourself. So this energy is someone who understands the value of the dollar, is willing to work for it. This is someone that could be a professional financial advisor, working for a bank, a CEO or a financial advisor, head financial advisor of a company. This is someone who's in a power position, and you may be working on something or with others on something, and it's not going the way that you want it to or the way that things normally do, and you're wanting to come, I'm hearing get to the bottom of it kind of energy. So let's see what this is about. So this is talking about your internal forces, what you can, what you have control over. This is what keeps you up at night asking, what if I do it this way? What if that happens? What if I do it that way? What if this happens? That kind of energy. So this energy is talking about you. It can be this card can come up a few ways. This can be that a potentially heartbreaking decision has to be made, and that may be regarding a business, your lifestyle, you know, cutting some things out, cutting someone out of your life. It could be talking about cutting people out of your life, you know, your partner out of your life. So we don't really have enough information to know this, what this is yet. But what you notice here is that the heart is actually quite big. So the sword's going through the heart. It's recoverable. It's not like the heart was, you know, like if you look in context, the heart is these are more like nails, you know? And there's some sort of energy of having to nail things down, like, and having to speak. Perhaps you're in a position where you have to discipline or use your words to be able to make changes in the business, and you might have to fire some people is what I'm getting. If you're like, if it's about business, or there could be things happening in your home that you have to address. So we'll see. And the thing is I feel like in the past, you haven't been willing to speak about it. Maybe December 4th was the full moon, and that energy was all about releasing it, and it was Gemini energy, and it was kind of like the energy is like, let go of what's not serving you. And it was really more powerful than usual. It was a super moon, and we're coming to the end of a year, as well as the end of a month. And that's the kind, or like it was the beginning of the month for the full moon, December 4th. But we're coming to the end of a cycle, because 2025 is actually 2 + 2 + 5, talking about how the universe counts. Is the energy like 2 + 2 + 5 is 9. It's the end of a cycle. So we're talking like about a decade of energy is coming to an end, and a new cycle is beginning in 2026. So a lot of us are already starting to feel that, and we're wanting to shift into a different energy. 2 + 2 + 6 is 10. 1 + 0 is 1. So we're moving into a one energy. So it's new. It's about moving into the new, carrying yourself in a new way. So we'll see more what this is about. A potential decision, if you're most likely the one that has to make this decision. Okay, and then this is talking about ultimate fulfillment. So the cups in tarot represent, they can represent romantic love. And this card can also represent romantic love in that there was 3 people involved in the relationship, and one person didn't know about the third. So it could be some sort of cheating energy, and you have to come to a decision about that. You could have been the one cheating, or you could be cheated on. But this is talking about it either was, or if you once you make this heartbreaking decision, you have this potential for this ultimate fulfillment. 10 cups is the most you can get in the deck, and this talks about having romantic love, family love, love for your country, love for your home, love for your location, love for your neighbors, love for your work, love for your your employees, your like all of that energy. So we're dealing with, in this reading, past, present, and future. The new moon is coming up on the 20th. It's a Sagittarius moon. Sagittarius likes action. So perhaps you've been thinking about making this decision to bring this happiness back into your life and do what's best for your family is what's coming up. And so you are going to, you're going to have to come to a decision. And, if you're planning on doing things in a new way, ushering it in with the new moon on the 20th in Sagittarius energy, taking action then is always a good way to be. Get it kind of over with and start the new year not in this energy, like this battle you're having within yourself or with others. And then we have the competition coming in. And so this energy can be talking about, in a business, competition with other businesses. It can be talking about competition within your employees if you're an employer. If you're the King of Pentacles, you're most likely an employer. And the energy can also be talking about people in your family, in your close, like your first family, like that you were brought up in, and also in the family that you maybe have created, or this energy of competition affecting the happiness and the decisions you've been making. So I feel like this could be talking about on an internal battle within yourself. Maybe you're a workaholic and your family's suffering because of it, and you have to make changes about that. Someone's competing for your, it might not just be like, because this is internal forces, this is like how you handle the competition. And also, are people having to compete for your time and energy? Are you, that kind of energy? Are you putting more time into the business and less time in your family, or too much time into your family and it's making your business suffer and the employees' families suffer? So, because once you become someone who employs other people, or you're in charge of, a lot of people, then, you have to consider that what you do having an effect on how their lifestyle is also. Yeah, this Knight of Wands is coming in here, and the Knight of Wands is someone that is learned. He's a bit of a hothead, but he's learned to I'm going to rein in my emotions, and I'm going to, this yellow tunic with the salamanders represents, in a circle like that, represents protection from fire. So he's reining his horse in. He's going at the pace he wants to go. That represents reining in the emotions before he takes action. And this is saying he is a hothead. He's a rebel with a cause. I'm getting an energy of feeling irritated, like with those around you, and having to, this is the mysteries of the world, and it's kind of like having to deal with all these people, and what they want is unknown. It's like you're just not clear on what the problem is really. That's the energy coming in. So this is about taking action, and a communication has come in, or you're going to communicate, and you might be telling people, you know what, it's right before Christmas, and I'm sorry, but our business, we have to let half our staff go. We just don't have the money or the business right now. The competition has been fierce, and I have to let half of you go right before Christmas, and it sucks, and I'm sorry, but that's the only way that I'm going to be able to make my business survive. It could be that kind of energy, or that could be the energy in your family where you're telling your family, I know in the past we've had these really elaborate Christmases and these holidays, and we go on a trip and we do all this. We have to cut back right now. A lot of families are having to do that right now. And so that's the energy. And that's, if you think you're the only one that's kind of wondering how the hell how are we going to deal with this? It actually is, a lot of people are feeling this. A lot of people are feeling the need to cut back. And what do you cut back on? That kind of energy. And so some sort of communication is coming in, or you're having to communicate. And then this goes back to, like the Strength card is talking about having the courage to face your fears, having the courage to face people and face their fears. That's the energy I'm getting. But if you're a CEO or you're an entrepreneur and you own a business, if you don't do what's best for your business, you're like, not only then your family is going to fall along with everybody else. And it's kind of almost like a competition. And if in your family, you have to cut back, and you don't want to have to tell the kids, we're not going to be able to get that gift that expensive gift that you wanted, like, then, we're going to have to cut back on everything right now. We're going to the energy is of being in this place of integrity within yourself. And it's also about, in your childhood, maybe that happened to you, facing fears from your inner child as well as from your family and your children, and making sure. But in the end, a lot of people feel this way, like, in early January, you're starting off the year and the bills start rolling in from like the credit card debt, from having an elaborate Christmas that you couldn't afford, and that puts you in an even worse position. And I feel like this is what this energy is talking about. Virgo energy loves things to be clean and in order, and it can be very like anal criticism or analytical critique. And so you need to, find a way to speak what you need to say without doing it in, being really critical, but being more about, okay, I have to analyze this, and this is what I need to do, and I need to do what I need to do to rescue my family, my business, and stay in my integrity. And you're reaching into the lion, and the lion is being submissive because you are facing your fears about this. And there's a lot of fears, like it's what you always wanted to be when you grow up, and being really successful, and then being in this stage where it feels like it's not as successful. So this energy of one step forward, two steps back, maybe you feel that's what's happening, and it's supposed to be two steps forward, one step back. But having said that, by stepping back, I feel that you're really going to be able to get to the bottom of this and move forward again and it's a more general energy that a lot of people are feeling right now. There's very few people that are not feeling this, and those are, like maybe 1% of the population. And I'm noticing even that people that are not used to feeling this way are feeling this way. You see it more and more, people talking about it. But the sun is coming out, and so facing these childhood fears about money and losing. Maybe your parents lost everything and you experienced that when you were a child, or you never had what you wanted growing up, and you want your children to have a childhood where they have everything they want. But those, there's pluses and minuses to everything. If you get everything you want as a child, and then you enter the real world and you find out that nobody, people don't care about you like your parents do. And you're gonna have, you're not the only child when you're in a company or whatever. So this is a kind of energy it's better to learn these lessons when you're younger. And then sometimes we have to reparent ourselves and our children to be able to see this, that this could be a good thing. This could be something that's really strong for you and your family. That's what the strength is about. And when you get into that place of being able to face those fears and really bring that down into your life, the sun starts shining. And this represents God, and that you are a child of God, and you were meant to have a good life. You're meant to have this ultimate fulfillment. You're carrying the banner with ease, like it's not heavy for you. So you've already experienced success. You just need to make the changes that you need to make right now. And that's the energy, like not to give up on yourself, not to be down on yourself. And this is talking quite often about your own self-talk to yourself, like really beating yourself up for not doing things perfectly. And we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a perfectly imperfect world. And that's, I think, of all the signs, it's the most challenging for Virgo to accept that. Because if people would just line up and do what you want, this wouldn't have happened, that kind of energy. And so this is talking about your self-image right now, like being concerned with that, having to be the mean guy, having to be the person that delivers the bad news. That's the energy I'm picking up. And this is also about tying your self-worth to your abundance, like of money more, if you're the King of Pentacles and that's what you're used to being in, and now you're experiencing a time where you don't have as much money as you used to, then this card is saying this is actually a really good opportunity for you to get to know your family better. Maybe you've been so busy making money that you haven't had time for them, and now you'll have time for them because, you won't be buying those expensive gifts, and on Christmas Day you'll actually sit down and play a board game together and have a wonderful time and get to know each other again. It's that kind of energy. So communication, you can't turn a negative into a positive, but what you can do is you can take a negative situation and make consistent steps of action, positive consistent steps of action to move forward in a strong way. And so this is, I'm getting this is about your communication in your early life. And it was maybe you had a lot of siblings and you had to compete with each other for attention. Or it can be if you own a business, like if you think of a business as a family, being like having to be really loud to be able to get what you want because there was a lot of you, and like there wasn't enough to go around kind of energy. So and on a bigger scale, that's the world. And so this is the energy, like God is here and saying there's enough for everybody, and this lack of, this attitude of lack is, there's abundance everywhere. It's where are you focusing? What is the most important to you is what's important right now. And maybe the whole world needs this correction now, right? Because in the past, when people had to do things like they didn't have running water, they didn't have, electricity in their homes, like and it wasn't that long ago, and now we have all these conveniences, and maybe it's become too convenient for us, and we're not paying attention to the things that really matter. That's the energy I'm picking up. And that's the energy of moving into from this last decade into the new energy. It might be challenging, this new energy, but there's so many possibilities within that. And then we have this energy here, and this is about, changing your daily routine, your habits, and that it's actually going to be healthy for your family. You're going to be better off making this change, and you're going to actually be really happy. This is the happiest card in the deck. Once you make the choice, and once you face all these fears inside of you, then you're going to start to see your value, not as the King of Pentacles, but for how happy you and your family are together. And you're going to notice, hey, we're happier now with less money, or with less shift anyway, You can really, and that's the other thing, when you have a lot of clutter around you, then it clutters your mind and you can't think as clearly. So we're going to now look at, okay, what are the external forces coming through here? Juggling, multitasking. This is someone who's very busy, having to multitask, and it's gaining momentum. And this could represent a business that grew really fast and you're just overwhelmed, which is a good problem to have. Having said that, you need to deal with it. This could be having, what is the saying? When you have too much food on your plate, you take too much food on your plate, and your appetite is bigger than your eye. Well, I can't remember it's not coming to me. But there's a saying about, your eyes being bigger than your appetite, and you don't have an appetite for being this busy. Or you're having growth problems kind of energy. And so this is talking about having to juggle the pentacles. Do you pour this into your family, or do you pour this into your business right now? That kind of energy. Do you pour your energy into your family, or do you pour it into your business? Do you pour your energy, into if you're a world leader, do you pour that energy into your country, or do you expand your horizons into other countries? That kind of energy, and this is kind of representing a momentum that's happening, and that's outside of you. These are the external forces that you can't control. This also has a couple warnings, this card. It says, juggle your options, but don't juggle your morals. And also, it's also saying, there's extremes. Work hard, play hard. You have to, don't get from one extreme to another. Don't be too extreme. And then we have, so in the external forces coming up, there's a lot of cups coming in, and cups represent love. These are 7 gifts in cups. They are opportunities. Some of them you might love more than others. Some of them might be more challenging than others. But you're like a black hole. There's so many solutions to this dilemma that you're in, whatever that is, for each of you. And you have a lot of opportunities being presented to you. You have to choose which ones do you want to focus your attention on right now, which should have the first priority, and deal with that first, and then take consistent steps of action of putting these challenges, finding the possibility in them, and then moving forward. And I feel like that's going to be the energy of 2026. I finished all the sneak peek at 2026 readings for all the signs, and they're all on my playlist of astrological insights. So you can check that out on my site or on my channel. And so this energy is talking about that, that it's that type of energy. We're moving into a new way of doing things. And I feel like 2026 is going to be challenging, because we're going to be in a new kind of energy from the last decade, not just from the last year. And then this is talking about, but you have a strong foundation, because you already have had success. Once you have success, you know how to have success. You know what it feels like, and you can get into that energy. This is talking about, you know, there's 3 levels of making money. There's safe money, and then there's going after your heart's desires, and then there's your crowning glory, having all of it, and it being safe in the end. And so that's the energy I'm getting that you're in. And that's the energy you want to move towards. So it's not like if you're having to make really heavy changes, make cuts, etc., cut things out, you know, maybe you have to sell your home and move to a smaller home. All of those energies, that kind of energy, it's not like you're starting over again, because you have all the knowledge that you have from what you did before. And if you put things in order, you know how to do that. So that's what I'm getting. And this is talking about the give and take in life. And so this isn't just you, this is the entire world, right? And so this is talking about the seeds that you planted, having grown into whatever you have here. And you've done very well. You're the King of Pentacles. And maybe now you only have 6 pentacles to play with instead of like the 10, you know, like what you're used to. So this is talking about, are you going to value your worth on pentacles? Or are you going to recognize that pentacles are not just money? Pentacles are time, their energy, and how much are you giving to who are you giving? And so maybe in the past you gave a lot of your energy to your business, and now it's time to give energy to your children. Maybe your children are at the age where they really need you to spend more time with them. And so this is a blessing, and this is a correction from the universe. And that's the kind of energy. So this person has the scales of justice, and he's giving his time, energy, money, his abundance to this person, but not to this. And this person is like got something in their pocket here anyway. So they could go off and do their own work with that. So this is about having the knowledge that you've gained about the give and take in life. How much to give, how much to take, when to give, when to take, that kind of energy. Not just being like the magnanimous King of Pentacles that is always giving, you know? Yeah, because I feel like you're feeling a bit like a wounded warrior now. It's like, man, like even if you do everything in your power to satisfy everybody, nobody's satisfied. And the one who's the least satisfied is you. So like you're still standing, and like you're making decisions now, and you know you have to take action, and you know you have to speak your truth. And so I would say by the 20th on the new moon here, do it, get it over with, and you know, do it. Ground yourself, make sure that you do it in a way that you're not criticizing everybody. You know, anal criticism doesn't really help anyone, but being in a position, and especially not yourself, but being in a position where you've done an analytical critique and you can explain, this is why we need to do things this way right now. I feel like it'll be a huge breath of fresh air for you. Yeah, and look at, this is showing this regret over these 6 pentacles, how you have distributed them in the past. How have you wasted your energy? Where did you put more energy into things that you shouldn't have? All the regrets around that. And now this pentacle is representing how you're going to move. This is how you plan to rule your kingdom from now on, and you're going to do it this way. It might be an experiment, but you see how here you're leaning on this one now. You're contemplating, you're looking here, and you might have some regrets about this, but you've looked at it, and now you know what actions you need to take. You're not feeling like a martyr or resentful anymore. You're just feeling like, this is the action I'm taking. I'm the king, and this is what I'm doing with my pentacles. And that's the energy. And you're looking at this and going, okay, you know, notice the change in the body language here from this to this. Once you take this action, I feel like you're going to be like, you'll be enthusiastic about the new. Like you'll be like, wow, what a relief. You'll be like the rebel with a cause. Let's go. You know, like, look at, this is the one that I'm moving forward with. And this is the energy. And the new moon is a Sagittarius moon, and it's coming. This moon has showed up already in several of the readings, saying, hey, the new moon's a good day to do this. Like to have it done by then you can go into Christmas energy if you're into Christmas, and you can just, you know, enjoy the holiday season whether you're into Christmas or not. And you can also enjoy moving into the new year knowing that it is going to actually be a new year. I really like this energy. Yeah, and look at this. This is like the King of Swords is coming in now. And so the king, you're anxious to do it now. Like I'm telling you, when you really look at it and you take the time and you kind of rein your emotions in and look at, hey, I'm the King of Pentacles. I am going to make these decisions that are going to benefit everybody. Somebody has to make them. You're going to make them. You're going to do what's best for everybody to the best of your ability. And you're going to, like this sometimes can represent someone who's really stressed out. And this is why I'm saying Virgo energy, there's anal criticism and there's analytical critique. Know when to draw that line. Know where that line is within yourself, first and foremost. And then, implement it in a way when you're ready and you've given it thought and you're going to do it. But you don't have to stress everybody out around you. It doesn't have to be done from anger. It doesn't have to be a rush. You can call a meeting, sit everybody down, have an agenda and do it in order like you like. Just in that way. I really feel good about this. The King of Pentacles is also earth energy, and that's what Virgo energy is all about. What do we have to do on earth to be happy? Like what do you have to implement? I really like this energy for you. It's really good, Virgo. I feel like it's time. It's like it's not worth stressing yourself out over things that you don't have control of. This energy. Okay, I'm just tuning in my cards because I want to clarify this. I'm tuning in my cards from my Oracle, Tales from the Vector, and it's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I started working on it in 2007, and I completed the 64th painting in 2020. And this energy, like what I'm working with right now, is just cards with the numbers of the paintings as they appear in the order on my website, talesfromthevector.com, TAILS from thevector.com. So you can go there after this reading if you want, and you can take a look. In the description box below, I will have the numbers of the paintings as they appear in the gallery in the order they appear here. And check it out if you want. It has more information there. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So here, you may get further idea of how you want to handle this in a really strong way. And I'm getting you will, and you are. You're determined now. The energy, this card is popping out, so we'll get started on clarifying. If you're enjoying this reading, please do like and comment. It really empowers me to build my channel. And I'm going to, the card that wanted to come out from the bottom of the deck is Aries. This card has been coming out in almost every reading that I've done with the new moon. So new moon, Aries is the baby, the infant of the zodiac. This is talking about I am. I am here. I am. So this is talking about, are you going to be or are you going to do? How much are you going to be? And how much are you going to do? That kind of energy. Where is your energy leaking? Where is your energy, like, what is working? What isn't working? It's that kind of energy. So that's clarifying the overall energy for this reading. And then we have, from the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress energy. So that here, there's a lot of pentacle energy. We've got the King of Pentacles, and the Empress is all about the Earth sign also. This is the Venus energy coming through. The Empress is all four queens from the minor arcana rolled into one. So, and it's sitting right on this king. So this is, remember, these are archetypes. So this king could be a woman in her masculine energy. And now all four kings rolled into one, to be in her feminine as well. So this is saying that now, once you do this and once you, work out how you're going to do it and get it in order, that you're going to be in the masculine and feminine energy is going to be very balanced in about how to carry this out. And the Empress is the generator of energy. And she also is representing the earth, the element of earth, as well as the King of Pentacles here. This is pure Virgo energy right here. Like, so that's really awesome. So you're coming in and representing yourself here. And then we have Scorpio energy. So this is about, are you going to elevate or are you going to conquer? And that's how are you going to use your words? The swords are about using your intellect and using your words. How are you going to use your words? Are you going to use your words and be really critical, or are you going to use analytical criticism? Draw the line, cut, you know? It's Scorpio can really like, they can elevate or they can like conquer. Boom. And Scorpio has a stinger. And when they speak words, they sting. Like if they're in the mood, you know, to be really anal, it'll sting. And so, and look at, this is talking about the King of Pentacles is now elevated, if you recognize that energy, to be in this really strong Scorpio energy of uniting everybody, involving everybody kind of in the decisions, like so that they have an understanding of it. You know, doing that it's going to create happiness for everyone. This is the happiest card in the deck. And so this is about you stepping into this Emperor and Empress energy. And then the performance will go up for everybody. Really good energy. Yeah, and this is anger. Sometimes we're raised in families where, you know, people yell a lot. And sometimes they're not even really angry. It's just that they yell a lot. But it affects everybody. So this is saying again, maybe when you were a kid, you had to be really loud and you had to get angry before you got you have to throw a tantrum like a toddler kind of energy. And families tend to pass that down from one generation to another. So you're going to do it differently now. You're going to use your words in a wise way so that it's beneficial for everyone. I really like this energy. And then we have the Earth Star. So this is about manifesting what you want. And so this is using this energy of the Sagittarius, because this is representing Sagittarius, and the new moon is Sagittarius, of bringing that energy and manifesting with it, bringing it in, bringing it down to earth. And then we have keeping your ego in check. Yeah, and other people are going to need to keep their egos in check. This is an energy of, Christmas, the Christmas day, it only lasts one day, and then the regret creeps in if people have put themselves in a position where they've spent more money than they have, or they've invested more of themselves into that, and they needed to be investing in things that were more critical at the time. And then we have the deception. Okay, so this is, again, I feel like this is talking about the energy of thinking that there's lack on the planet, and we have all this abundance around us, and it's about being happy, like adopting the energy of a happy child, like what you were meant to be. And so the deception is basically that you fall for this is the way that like you fall for the Instagram photos. That kind of energy. Like recognizing that marketing is marketing, right? And so, some people, their Instagram pages, their house really does look like that. And some people, it doesn't. And it's really hard to keep up that constant image when you have a lot happening around you. And so just recognize that, like that some things are meant to be projected outward and some things are not meant to be taken internally. We live actually in a perfectly imperfect world. So, of course, if you're going to go on social media, you want to present yourself the best way possible. That's a very wise decision. At the same time, most people realize that's not like real everyday life. And then we have, the Gemini energy. So this is interesting. What this is talking about, we have the energy of the Sagittarius full moon or new moon coming in, and we had the Gemini full moon. So this is talking about releasing, and then what are you bringing in? Releasing, bringing in. Always having that, the give and take of life, knowing how much to invest, how much to take back. And so we have also the Leo energy coming in here. And so this is about being a leader and being able to, this is talking about how some impulsive energy. So what it's saying here is when these opportunities come up for you, recognize that you're going to have to do the work. And so just don't grab the shiniest one that shows up first. Recognize, okay, what are the challenges in this cup? How much time do I have? What is best which is the best one to work with first? And then the energy is of attachment. Yeah, and I feel that this is really important for all of us, is that recognizing we don't need to be attached to what we have or what we had. Moving in to this new energy, we need to let go of the attachment, and then we can, to the way things were, and that we're not starting from scratch. What we're doing is we're taking what we learned from the last cycle and we're applying it to the new cycle, and letting go of the attachment of how things were, how we thought things were going to go, how things were going, and recognize, oh, this is an awesome opportunity. It's challenging, but there's so many possibilities if I just tweak this a little or do that. And that's the energy. And then having the strength to do so and the integrity. Yeah, and that, is coming back to here again. If you're the King of Pentacles, you're used to people looking up to you. And so that can, this could be an ego correction in some ways. We need an ego to be able to produce and be ourselves and to have an identity on this planet. At the same time, we need to keep our ego in check and recognize that, boom, things can change in a split second. And then we have the shooting star energy. So this is all about attitude. So all these fears of losing everything, going back to basics, all of that energy going backwards, recognizing that a strong attitude is your best gift. And when you're wishing on a star, you're wishing for something. That means you don't have it. So recognize that. I don't have what I'm wishing for. I'm just wishing for it. And so this is saying you're probably going to have to work for it. You're probably going to have to change the way you do things. You're going to have the strength to look into that, to face your fears around that. It's really good energy. This is really good advice, Virgo. And then we have temperance. So again, this is the Sagittarian energy coming in. And this temperance energy is talking about devotion to your life path, devotion to your goals. And taking a look at it. Okay, I'm going to change the way I'm doing it because I don't feel like I'm on the path that I want to be on to have this ultimate fulfillment and happiness that I always wanted, like that I've always known I deserve this. Having that value in yourself, that's the energy. And having the patience to deal with it, and having the patience for the times when you're taking the steps backward instead of the steps forward, and recognizing that, staying in your element. It's really, this is really good reading. I really like this energy. Yeah, the denial is over. What I don't know won't hurt me. If your family doesn't understand what you're going through, then how are they supposed to empower you in any way? And if they think you're like, you're walking around and you got a sad face and you're angry looking and whatever, they may think it's because of something they did. They don't know why you're acting this way because you're not telling them. And I feel like for men in particular, a lot of people, or people that have been really successful in business, it's challenging to say, look, we got to cut back right now. This is what we need to do. And I feel like once you get that off your chest and you speak your truth, I really feel like everybody's going to be happier. Everybody. I think you're going to be surprised how much fulfillment comes in just from that alone. So I really, really like this energy, Virgo. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please like and comment, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. It would be an honor for me if you did. I will be back at the end of the month with another reading for you, Virgo. Enjoy the new moon, enjoy the holidays, and I will see you at the end of the month. Bye for now. Yeah.